Satyanarayanan Chakravarthy from IIT Madras. Satya is a founder of multiple startups and he is also a professor of aerospace engineering from IIT. He is an advisor or a co-founder of many startups. Startups ranging all the way from turbines to satellites to rockets to hyperloops to green hydrogen and biofuels. Oh my! Is there something he doesn't do? Satya, in addition, heads a prestigious and the world's largest combustion R&D facility, the National Center for Combustion Research and Development at IIT Madras. Satya Chakravarthy, IITM.
Very glad to be here at C3, Chennai Climate Consortium. Really want to be part of this community. I think I it as the best convert that having held the combustion research center headship, and then converting to saying, okay, let's actually do something that's more conducive to climate. Yeah, I think that's where the story begins. I was actually doing combustion for a good part of my life, starting from undergrad, burning rocket fuel at the time. You might have seen me in the lab. Right? We were.
But I was in the lab most of the time.
Yeah. That's why I said might.
Well, I was a junior at IIT Madras Aerospace
Yeah.
1 year junior.
Yeah, there I went to Georgia Tech, and then did more of the same, burning rocket propellants for about 4 years. Then did a postdoc burning more rocket propellants for some more time. Came back to teach and burning rocket propellants for some more time.
You almost sound like an arsonist.
Right. Well, actually, after I came back, I actually diversified to burning other things than this rocket propellants. And then got an opportunity to burn a lot of things when I set up the combustion center. And this was going on for, till about, let's say, 2016-ish, when we had the opportunity to build the world's largest combustion center, so to speak. Very interesting that I think it was 6 p.m. on Saturday, October 1st, with an attachment containing the video of Tony Seba, who had given a talk in Oslo, Norway, earlier that year in March 2016 on transportation and energy. It was a 53-minute video, in some sense kind of changed me. And at the end of the 53 minutes, I was like, God, what am I doing? Basically, what Tony Seba was saying is, in about 13, 14 years, by the end of this decade now, he said that people will stop driving engine cars, and it'll all be like, well, he had a case for driverless cars, he had a case for aggregating cars, moving away from ownership. These are the representation, and of course he said that all the energy is actually going to come from solar. Now, why was that actually a churn in me is because the combustion center was actually predicated on 3 pillars that the government was actually putting money on 5 years before then, by 2011. One of them was automotive combustion, the second one was thermal power, the third was aerospace propulsion. The first two were where the government basically thought is going to actually, and combustion was actually at the crux of both energy as well as energy utilization as well as the environmental issues. I think it still is. But that evening, 2 of those 3 pillars just crumbled. And we were basically saying, we're just moving away from those. I could have just basically said, I'm an aerospace propulsion person. In the foreseeable future, I'm not seeing myself threatened by any electrification. Right? I actually started thinking, like, this is 2016, October. I said, 2034 is when I'm going to retire. Right? right? Will things get electrified by then, right? Or can I just assume that nothing is going to happen, we'll burn more stuff, and you know, slip into oblivion, right? That's a very convenient thing to do, right? Particularly if you're a prof, right? Because nobody asks the prof how useful you are anyway, right? Well, that's fair. I guess I've not been that straightforward. That day I decided, instead of actually living in denial for the rest of my career and life, I should probably be the change that I want to see. And here is an opportunity for me to actually say, hey, I'm actually truthful to my profession. I'm an aerospace propulsion professor first. Combustion happens to be one of the ways by which we propel aircraft and rockets, right? So if there is a new propulsion alternative that we can explore, I should be the guy who does that, right? So how about electric aircraft? What's happening on the electric aircraft scene? If there is so much buzz that's happening on the ground EVs, how about electrifying aircraft? This is the question. So I started actually looking up what was happening around, and that was an eye-opener. There were a lot of people who were actually making electric aircraft. I'm like, what? So the problem is, you're always actually hobnobbing with the big guys, right? Madras is a big institution, so you have to talk to the GE and the and all those guys. Well, maybe not, right? We should probably think on our own. We should start thinking about what we can do by ourselves instead of all these big guys, because the big guys, taking back, so 2018 is when Rohit introduced me to this book, Clayton Christensen's Innovator's Dilemma. It's again a turning point, right? Which basically says we have the opportunity to make the next E and the Boeing and the Rolls-Royce or whatever it is right here. And that's exactly the sutra that you get out of the book. How do big companies fail and how do new companies get formed? And we are talking about legacy companies out here, not ones that I want to actually make and sell to another guy and then go to the next entrepreneur. Unfortunately, I'm a parallel entrepreneur. And that doesn't make sense at all. Because what happened then was 2016, October is when I am, and Rohit had actually come to me even that June and then said he wanted to start a company. And until then, I was actually a super nerd in my life, all my life, right? Never thought, it's like, it's exactly like I'm like, hey, here I'm a Brahmana, not the thread variety, but like teaching and, and academic and going to conferences, publishing journals, papers and all that stuff. That is the Varna system. And here is this day saying you want to be a Vaishya. Right? Is it okay? This is actually a problem that many professors in the world face, not just in India. This is not an Indian problem. It's actually a global problem. I talked to my global colleagues that are actually doing companies. They actually look down at me. Right? They are like, hey, then what happens to your research? I'm like, why do you have to do it? So this is churn that goes on. Right? I mean, I'm not saying don't do research, but get that question, right? Why do you have to do the research? So answer that question. It's not a rhetorical question. Answer that question. That's the thing. So Rohit comes, he said he wants to do a company, and we ideated for quite a bit. But I think I have some common sense. The first question that I asked him is, where is the market? Right? For really a year, we would actually grab what is the market in microgas turbines. Then Srinath comes up in my life from nowhere, literally nowhere, right? He is there in Los Angeles. He gets multiple connections, and then comes up and then talks to me online. In 2017, it's not so fashionable, right? So we sit across and then talk. He says he wants to build rockets. I jump off with my seat. Sure, let's do it. That's what I am, right? So you have an opportunity. You just want to grab it and see where it's going. If I had not been there, I wouldn't have done the combustion center in the first place. Because I don't know of any faculty member who actually built a 5-story building, spending his time away from research. So the point essentially about faculty is, for example, the student actually was a SPICMAC coordinator. That's when I realized, if you really like music, you will actually either be a musician or be in the audience, not the guy who actually organizes the That's what I was doing.
You still played the violin, if I remember correctly.
I used to, yeah, but not anymore, right? So that's exactly the point, right? So if you are a faculty member, you research, not build a research. They are two different things. So these are away from the script, if you think about it, right? And therefore, I was basically like, if I have guys like Rohit and Srinath making engines and rockets, right? They're doing like some super stuff, right? These fuel agnostic, 3D printed combustor engines, and so on. We were actually doing all of that for our research anyway. Why can't I make my own planes? That was my basic question. And right along comes Vin, chemical engineering faculty. He gets enthused by my bug for entrepreneurship. We then say, let's actually do X2 fuels. Right around the same time that I was getting into E-plane, right? And so we incubated pretty much both of them at the same time, around December of 2019. X2 fuels is actually, again, an amazing story. So we were actually sitting one afternoon in my home, at my home over lunch, that I was having lunch. Vinu comes, and then I tell him, Vinu, you have been publishing a lot, right? So what he has like some pyrolysis. I think we were talking about nano research and all in the previous talk, right? So let's actually look at what happens when you do research. Right, so he was doing a catalytic pyrolysis, thermal pyrolysis, microwave pyrolysis, hydrothermal liquefaction, and whatnot. Then he was actually taking a bagasse, rice husk, paddy straw, this and that. And then he would put one of these into this, each of them is a separate paper, right? Then the next one, put this, another paper, another 5. This is what he was doing. I mean, it was amazing. Like, he was having a printing press in his backyard. So I'm like, wow, it's all great, okay? We'll get brownie points for our combustion center when we go to EST and tell them that, we are clocking all these things. But the question is, what are we going to do out of this? So is it possible for us to actually look at the bare minimum number of scalable processes that can capture all of the waste that we can think of, right? And do something about it. And the key point was, everybody tries to actually make a biofuel and then try to a car, have a photo, go to media, and then you don't hear anything about it after that. Why? Because they're not actually having a commercial sense. Right? What is commercially viable is actually what you have to do. And typically, academic professors do not have that commercial sense. It's a huge problem. Right? If you have to actually educate anybody on commercial sense, it has to be university professors. That's the first target we need to have, because that's where they're actually doing research. You need to actually tell them, hey, do something useful. Right? And that's going to be a hugely humbling experience for most people. So what I told him was, let's not do the end thing. Stop where you can actually utilize existing infrastructure. Right? And that's where actually HTL was very useful, because we were converting municipal solid waste that gets piled up. If you want an example, in Chennai, it's Perangudi and Kodungayur. These are two places where you're just dumping a lot of waste every day. Literally thousands of tons of waste every day. Right? And take that and convert it into crude oil. Okay. And I said, if we can do that, sure. So I said, don't do all these biogas, all these agri waste, because that's what actually everybody is publishing papers on. Can we try unsegregated municipal solid waste? So there are some kind of a streak of, a thought process over here. For about 100 years, we have been conned into thinking that an engine can take only petrol or diesel, right? We don't even dare actually mix up. Do you think you will actually ever walk with your car and then, stop at a diesel, pump where you are actually supposed to take petrol? You won't, right? You have been wired into thinking like that. That's poor engineering, man. Right? Somebody actually did very bad engine, and then which says that you have to take diesel. So that's where we have Rohit's thing coming. Should be able to actually make it. Very similarly, you go to Germany, you will find like every street corner has like about 5 different bins for you to, segregate waste and all. That's right. I believe that. You have a technology that doesn't require people to actually segregate them. Right? It's actually the engineer's problem how to deal with that waste, not the common man. Common man is actually supposed to actually work with as lazy a process. That's what engineering is all about. Engineering is all about making people lazy. Right? And Indians are pretty good at that. So this is a fantastic market for us not to think about all this convoluted infrastructure. Is it possible for us to use unsegregated waste? That's what X2 Fuels was, but I was on my e-plane journey. So I went on the sabbatical. I've been on leave for 40 years, 3.5 years now, since January of 2020. And I've been leading e-plane. My goal is to actually be able to take an idea to market before I can actually